Hello, Trekkies and Trekkers. Welcome to this amazing Star Trek podcast on Trek Tuesday. I'm your host, Orinda, and together with my co-host Amanda Hopper, we recap every 2 weeks an episode of Star Trek TNG. All the episodes will be recapping in chronically following. We will approach each episode with humor and a feminine look. Today we recap the episode The Schizoid Man. Well, guys, let's phone Amanda again. Hello, Amanda.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
So, what's new this week?
Not much new, as you already know, and some of the listeners probably are on Twitter, and some of them probably do follow me. I'm going to be at the Toy Expo this weekend on Saturday, I said. Yeah, Saturday.
Okay.
The Toy Expo, everyone's favorite 51 scientist. And then Sunday, I'll be at Boo at the Zoo all day. It's basically, I'll be like either in a haunted maze or one of the scary sections. We're not sure yet, but she told me I can bring one of my own costumes. Oh boy. Don't know which one to wear yet. Maybe Noonian in the morning and switch over to a different one in the afternoon.
Yeah, well, we had talked on Twitter a little bit about the new Picard premiere, and of course, that Brent Spiner is playing Laura again.
Yay! Laura's back.
So,
The troublemaker is back, as I'm calling.
I was really thinking, what must have Brent Spiner thinking when they asked him to play Laura again?
I wonder what he was thinking about when they asked him. He's probably thinking, I don't know. Did he answer you?
He didn't answer yet, so probably he will not answer it, or who knows, he may. But I'm finally looking forward to the third season of Picard. Picard isn't that much my favorite, but I'm hoping that the last season will be good. And of course, we know there are a few of the TNG cast that are coming back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the main people who were in the series are back. Well, except for Wesley.
Well, he said that he wouldn't appear, but he did in the end of season 2. So I will not be surprised if he will be in season 3 for a cameo, or just have the reunion with his mom and the rest of the crew. I hope so, in a way, because that would be so nice. And fans are already screaming for their own spin-off again, and a spin-off movie.
Maybe he will make an appearance in the third season as a quick cameo or to meet up with his mom. I agree with you there.
That would be nice.
And this whole thing about and the whole movie spin-off thing. Woo! That would be cool.
Yeah, because I thought it was that the fans were saying we want a new TNG Picard movie. And
yeah, a lot of them said that.
I know that Marina Sirtis and Beverly Crusher, Gage McFadden said that the fans are the one who can make this happen.
That's true.
What I do like is when I saw the Picard trailer, is that the daughter of LeVar Burton is in it as well.
Oh, is she? I didn't see her.
Yeah.
I probably didn't even notice her. I watched the trailer, I just didn't even notice her.
Well, the point is that she never had that interested that her dad was playing in Star Trek, but the last few years she have, and now they have asked her to play a role in Picard.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, go. Yeah, that is awesome.
There was something else I wanted to say about Picard, but I can't remember what. Let's start with the episode. Now, today's episode is the Schizoid Man, and I had a other episode in my head, but okay. So we start with a medical officer log, and we don't see that after because it is Picard's log or it is Riker's log.
Oh, I don't remember whose log it was.
It was Pulaski's.
Oh, yeah.
They got this long distance emergency call of the assistance of Ira Graves, and he appears one of the greatest minds and doctors of that time. But he needed medical attention. So they are rushing over to Ira Graves. Meanwhile, they also got another emergency call, and that's about a Federation ship that is in trouble, and apparently they got a lot of wounded, and Pulaski said, Captain? And this is one, I think that's why I'm starting to like Pulaski now, is that she actually had the nerve to talk back to Picard.
A lot of people don't have that nerve to talk back to him because they know if we do, we'll be in trouble.
But I mean, he's the captain.
Yeah, he's head honcho of the darn ship. But Pulaski had the guts to speak up to him.
Yeah, and she said, Captain, I'm not going to go to Ira Graves. The medical ship of the ship has apparently, it can be, they can have having 2,000 casualties, and I'm going to overlook that. Somebody has to go in my place. Picard said, okay, who's going to be replacing you? And she mentioned Dr. Salar. And now I know that I noticed Susie Pulaski's name as a special guest in the title opening. And I was thinking, who is she playing in this episode? Because if I'm going to see her name, is most of the time Worf's mate. So that was a nice surprise again, that she would actually be like Lieutenant Slaughter. And well, first we're going to have a little joke in the beginning of the episode, and that is that Data has asked Geordi and Troy to come to his quarters because he wanted to show them something. So they came to his quarters and they were calling out and they were saying, Data, where the hell are you? And Data said, alright, I'm coming out and I'd like to have your opinion. So Data comes out and he is there with a beard, like a blue-brown Riker's beard.
Yeah, it's like a mimic of his beard.
And he was stroking it like Riker would do, and he said, don't I look intelligent, and don't I look have authorities? And I remember in one of the quarters, Troy said, I don't understand why they don't need to see us. And Geordi said, well, I think he's having some kind of insecurities. And Troy was saying insecurities, Data, but Data is an android. That was absolutely funny. What?
That was funny. Like he says, like he says he strokes it gently, doesn't he look authoritative or something like that? I forget how the line went, but something about stroking the beard. I forget how the line went. That part was funny, I agree.
So Picard needed to make a decision, and they have both needed medical attention. I thought it was Riker who was saying, okay, let's do this almost warp thingy. And that means that they will fly by in almost warp at the planet, and they will beam the away team down, and they will pursue in warp to the USS. I can't remember what starship it was, but okay, they will help them. They did this thing, and the weird thing I thought was, why isn't Riker coming with them? Because normally Riker is always leading the away team.
Oh yeah, that's true. Riker normally does lead the away team, but this time he wasn't. It was Deanna, Worf, Data, and if I'm saying her name right, Solaris?
Solar.
Solar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to pronounce certain names on that show. Okay,
But,
Solar.
So they beam down, and I thought it was Data who said, no, it was Worf said, okay, let's split out faces on stunt. And then the assistant of Dr. Grace was coming out, and she was very happy to see them, and so they asked, why didn't you answer or call back, because we were exactly there, and she said, well, I couldn't risk it. And then Dr. Grace came out. Yes, she couldn't risk it because she knew that I would knew it, and I don't want this. I don't want visitors, and I don't like people. And it was really stupid because he said, I don't like people, but I do like women. And he was crawling the Dr. Solara out because he hated doctors more than people, and okay, doesn't matter. So Grace is checking every one of the away team out, and oh my god, he insulted Worf so hard, and he wasn't insulting.
Because Karina, that's the girl's name, Karina, asked if Worf was a Romulan, and Worf, as soon as Worf heard that, he kind of growled at her for it. And Grace's like, no, he's a Klingon, my dear.
Yeah, and then she, but I find him very grumpy and rude to people, and he got everything. He did that to everyone except for Data. And as soon as he mentioned Soong, Data was, my father. And then Grace told him, well, I am the one who taught him everything he knows, and I was the inspiration of Soong to create you, so therefore I am your grandfather.
Oh.
And I don't know, that was really weird and arrogant to say.
Yeah, because you never know, he could be kind of lying to Data just to get on Data's, I don't know, good side, I guess you could say. He could be lying, like telling Data like a tall tale. He could be fibbing it, or you never know. But if he says he knew Soong, he knew Soong.
And then he looked at Dr. Solar and said, well, beautiful, gorgeous, spit it out, I can handle it what I'm having. And she said, well, I did the checks 2 times, and you have the disease of demise. And you are in the last stadium of it. And to me it sounded like cancer. Terminal cancer.
Yeah. That's what kind of would remind you of Darnus disease. Like when they say stages of it, technically the same as cancer. Because cancer, I think, has 4 stages to it, I think.
Yeah, but not only that, it is just like how they say it, and there was no cure for it, and etc. And
that too.
I think in one way it was a shock,
too.
but I think also that Grace had something in mind, at that point you could, and when we come to the next scene, Grace and Data were working at the computer site in his office, and Grace was whistling this tune Data always whistled, and that was a sort kind of a special musical song Grace know, and since then Data is whistling it too. But Data make a mistake to tell Grace that he is like that he had a off switch, so that was some kind of a dad.
Yeah.
And at that moment
he shouldn't have told him that.
Yeah, at the moment that he did that, you could see Grace had plans in his head forming.
Oh yeah, as soon as Data told him that he had an off-on switch on him, Graves' head just lit up like a Christmas tree, like, oh, and something's just baking in that brain of his when he found out that Data had an on-off switch.
And then he was saying, well, Data, before I die, I will transfer my conscious over to the computer. Which means that he had to do that to Data. So, which means he have to put Data off and then transfers his conscious over to Data. So he could in fact be Data and he had a new body. But we are going a little too fast now, because Grace said to Data first, well, I like you to call me Grandpa because I'm at the end of my life. And he tells him stories, and also the fact that that once there was a time that he was very smart but also a lady killer. And we see through all the whole episode is that he only look at women. But do you think don't you think he's very rude against people, but also in a way very rude to women? I didn't like him.
Yeah, like somebody said on Twitter, like he was like a misogynist. Is that what that guy said?
I saw that.
Misogynistic or something like that. Yeah, that's what somebody said on Twitter. So that's the way he acted. Very, like, basically, he was rude to both genders, but he liked the women, but he was still rude to them. Like, geez.
I think that he was bittered because Kareem, his assistant, didn't like him in a romantic way. That can be
that's
so.
true. She didn't.
So, the Enterprise returns in orbit to collect the away team and get Dr. Grace to the medical of Starfleet. And Data came in and told the away team, well, that is not necessary anymore because Dr. Grace has passed away. But you already could see that wasn't Data.
No, he sounded a little bit different, and when he looked like he was in the shadow a bit, so it was a bit creepy when he said it.
Yeah, but that was like, also more like that he talked differently than Data.
Yeah. It didn't sound like Data. It sounded almost
human.
So different. It sounded so different. Like his voice sounded a little more gravelly.
Yeah, but also during the whole episode, you could hear and see that something wrong with Data. And they noticed that, and Data had to report to Picard with some of the other senior officers. And Picard noticed that something was wrong in how Data was talking, and Data was asking to Picard I hope you're gonna give him a memorial service to remember of the great mind and great man he was. So you could already thinking, what the heck? That isn't Data.
No, because I don't think Data would ever say something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was LaForce who offered last at the end of the episode that Data could perhaps acting that strong as a human because he is too strongly want to be a human. And you know that reminds me very much at that movie of with Robin Williams, the Binaural Man.
Oh, Bicentennial Man.
Yeah.
I only saw a little bit of it. I didn't see the whole movie. I know I should watch
It's
it.
really, you have to see it. It's just Robin Williams. I really love that guy.
I know. Like he said, Canada is like an apartment building over top of a meth lab, which he was calling America, basically. Like we're the upstairs neighbor to a downstairs meth lab. That's what he said as a joke.
I think that a lot of people and who know Robin Williams in of his movies, I think we all miss him in his movies, etc. Thank God we still have a lot of them. But Robin Williams. But Robin Williams is Robin Williams, so.
Yeah. He did a horror movie called 1 Hour Photo. That was odd.
I never seen that one.
Oh, that's a freaky movie. It's like suspenseful, I guess you could say.
So,
oh, 1 Hour Photo. It's a good one.
So, and that was a weird scene, I find. So, Geordi, Solar, Riker, Troy, Picard, Kareem, and Wesley were taking their goodbyes and they would shoot the body of Grace into space. What I really was questioning, why was Wesley there?
Yeah, because he didn't go down to the planet.
Not only that, but he doesn't even know Dr. Grace or his works. Of the only thing that they could see is that Data was different. And talking about Data, Captain Picard asked, is there someone who still wants to say something about Dr. Grace? And Data said, yeah, I'd like to say a few words. But he did that with so much passion that it wasn't Data. You could exactly know that it was Dr. Grace.
Yeah, because Data would not show that much passion at all. Like, technically, he wouldn't show any passion because he's an android. But since Ira was inside his brain, he was showing some passion.
And what I was also questioning at that point, well, I already questioned myself when Data asked for the memorial for Graves. At the memorial itself, or the funeral itself, why didn't we see Picard or the rest reaction of how Data was acting?
Yeah, that's true. They didn't react much to when he did his eulogy. But there was a point after Data did his eulogy, after he did that, and they were getting ready to shoot him out into space. When they did, Karina and Picard were standing next to each other, and Data, Ira, got massively jealous towards those two.
Yeah, like, but he was
definitely.
It was so. It was really like his jealousy, and you could see that in later moments. But first, we're going to that everyone was departing, and Data find Karima in 10 forward, and she sad she didn't notice that it was Dr. Graves, and so she was talking to him, and it was a very weird conversation. And I can't remember if it is this conversation or a conversation after that. No, it was at the end. Sorry guys, I have to read my notes because I'm a little bit... There was one thing about the grave thingy of Dr. Graves, how he is put in the coffin with all the shiny silver. It reminds me a little bit of like a knight's costume, you know, those Marion Calder or the protection wear. That's reminded me of.
The shiny silver like warm blankets they give you when they're rescuing you. That's what that does remind me of. Like if you get rescued off a mountain and they throw that on you, that's kind of what it reminds me of.
So after that, Data has this conversation again with Picard, and Picard was getting concerned. And as soon as what was the line that they finished? I can't remember, but as soon as Data was stepping on the bridge, he was already looking at women, and when he go to the turbo lift, he starts whistling that song again. And
yeah,
that was, I think, a confirmation for everyone that it wasn't Data, but Graves. So then he sat down on one of the Data's consoles, and Wesley was talking to him, and he was very degrading Wesley. Of, well, boy, if you are old like me, you do this and you that, and you're just childish, and that was so wrong. And
I know. And what do I say about age? He's like, Data, chronologically, you and me are the same age chronologically. So they're practically like, what, 16, 17 he is? So him and Data are almost the same age.
And did you saw Riker's face when Grace went to do that to Wesley?
Yeah, Riker looked like he was very surprised by that.
I don't think surprise is the word to use, but
Shocked?
it was more like flabbergasted.
Yeah, that's it. Flabbergasted. I couldn't think of the word. I was like surprised or shocked.
Then he started. Riker was blending in the conversation, and it became a really weird conversation. But there's something wrong, and I think Riker and Wesley said that to each other because it was like, yeah, this is not the Data we know. And then Picard and Kareem came on the bridge, and all hell broke loose.
Ooh, yeah. Definitely. All hell broke loose between Data and them. Because Picard and Kareem were talking about the whatever, and Data's like, oh, she has no interest in you, old man, and all, yeah, and they all heard it, and they're like, what? And then Data went on this old jealousy spiel, and holy crap! Like they definitely knew something ain't right with him, because that's not Data.
Exactly, but the weird thing is, after that, Riker was asking Troy, oh, what the hell was that about? And that isn't Data, what the hell's going on? So, Troy said, well, it was just like a burning jealousy. And at that point, I think they all thinking, jealousy, Data, how can that be? And nobody, only Pulaski has the nerve to talk to Picard like that.
Yeah. Only Pulaski has the, how should I put it bluntly, the cojones to talk to anybody like that. Data, nobody else would do that. But now that Data's possessed, well, not possessed, but has the soul of Ira in him, he's got some attitude towards Picard and the rest of them. So, jeez, it's just insane.
So, Troy said, well, I think that it's not. Oh, then, yeah, Picard wanted to speak to Data privately, and that was also one of the shocking conversations ever to Picard. And Geordi had to find out if something wrong was with him, and Geordi couldn't find anything. So Counselor Troy was thinking, well, maybe it is it's mentally. And my thoughts about that was right away, mentally, what the heck? Data is an android.
Yeah. How could anything be mentally wrong with him? Because he's a freaking android, but of course with Ira's memory, but nobody knows that Ira's in his brain. That I guess they're like, something must be mentally going crazy with him in his android brain. They think something's gone wrong. So they decide to do like this test, I guess Deanna has to. And they hook up these little electronoid things to his forehead.
Yeah, but you know,
and
that was a weird scene as well, because why would Troy doing that? Normally the Doctor will do that.
Yeah, that's true. The Doctor normally would do that, but I guess Troy had to do it. And it showed all these scenes, like some of them were from old episodes too, and you could see the way he reacted to some of those, like when the Yars flashed up, a bunch of other things flashed, a baby flashed, like so many different pictures flashed before his eyes, and you could see different reactions from him.
But also the pictures of himself and Kareem. And his work. So that was also a big issue, and you could see how stressed he's become and how he reacted on that. But before he did the test, Picard was asking him, "Are you alright, Data? Because this is not how we know you." And Data says, "Well, I couldn't be better, sir." And this was the first time Picard didn't believe him.
That's true.
So,
and then wasn't there a line in when Picard was talking to him in the ready room there? I think there was a line saying, "Data, maybe we should go to sick bay." And Data goes up to him, holds his arms, like, "Why, sir? Is something wrong with you?" Kind of line.
I can't remember that.
Yeah, there's something along that line, he said to him. And then Picard, he does his own diagnostic in the room there with Picard. I don't know if you noticed his eyes in that part. Looked like one of his lenses fell out.
Okay, no, I didn't notice that.
Because I was watching, I'm like, did one of his contact lenses fall out during filming and they didn't notice it? I don't know if it did or not, because it looked kind of bluish to me. They just didn't realize it and they kept filming, and I guess that's a continuity error.
Well, Troy came with a report to Picard, and she was saying, well, it looked like he has two personalities in him. One that is very laid back, and that's the old Data we know. And the other one is of someone who is very smart and very arrogant, but also all the things that Grace is. And then Picard said, hey, those are very familiar, the same as Dr. Graves. And then you could see that Picard knew what happened. And, well, meanwhile, Grace went back to the 10 forward to see Kareem, and he told her that it was him. And he was saying, well, I'm going to build an android for you so we can put your conscience in there, and then we can live forever. And she didn't want that, and he became angry, and he hurted her. And
yeah, he gripped her hand really hard with his. And for an android with a good grip, he didn't realize he was hurting her when he was doing that. And I guess according to the doctor, later on we find out I think he broke some of the fingers.
I thought it was the wrist.
Oh,
that he
the wrist. I
broke.
thought it was the fingers. Oh.
But okay.
Wrist. But that's what he did.
Then Geordi tried to talk to him as Data, and he knocked Geordi unconscious. And Picard went to confront him in the engineering. And so there was a moment in the conversation that Picard asked Pulaski to come to the engineering because there are 2 more down, including Geordi LaForge. And he asked how Kareem's injured was, and when Pulaski was telling them that Kareem was hurt, you could see the reaction of Graves that he was sorry for it, but he couldn't understand why he was this strong or why he did this. So Picard pleaded to him of, well, leave it out and get out of Data and give Data back. And then he heard it, Picard, and before he knocked Picard asked him how many little accidents has to come till you stop. And that made him that angry that Grace was knocking him down, and but that was also a moment he realized, I can't do this. I need to give Data back. And he asked himself, how many little accidents have to occur before I stop? So he went to Data's quarters and download his mind to the computer and switch off Data. So the scene after that, you see Picard, Kareem, and Geordi come in. Geordi expected, I think, already that Data was normal again. The first thing Data did was one question asked and then another one. And at the second question, Picard said, as always, oh, okay, I see you're normal again. Let's go. They come on the bridge again. And Data was talking to Wesley, normally, as he does. And then Wesley said something in the way of, so you don't remind something of all? Because you can't remember it? So
Nope.
Data told him, no, I can't remember anything. And it's like I was switched off and I was still there, but not there because I didn't have a conscience. And there was some kind of a talk still, and Riker said, well, so you don't even remember wrestling a Klingon Tark. And what was really funny, because picture that in your mind, guys. Data is wrestling a big Klingon Tark. And probably Worf will cheer the hardest and the loudest. So, this was also this we are at the end now, so Amanda, would you like to add something?
I can't think of anything to add. All I know is I liked the episode. It was pretty good, and his character was a bit scary because of Ira being in him. Ira's a bit scary at times when he's mad and stuff like that. And, well, like the guy said on Twitter, he's a bit misogynistic, the way he acts. Of Ira.
Well, there is one thing that question when Riker asked Data of, so you don't remember wrestling with a Klingon Targ. Data asked, did I win?
Yeah,
That was
that was
funny.
funny. Did I win?
That was really funny. Yeah, well, let's take a look at the rating of IMDb for this episode.
Okay.
And that is a 6.9. I must say, I would give it a 7.5 or an 8.
Yeah, I would say around the same, around an 8.
Because I really like the story, and it was personality of changing Data was in a one way very fun to see.
Oh yeah, it was interesting to see him like have a different personality and see how they handled it and stuff like that.
So yeah, I think, guys, this is the we are at the end of this episode. Thank you for listening, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper, guys.
Dear listeners, thank you for listening, and join us in 2 weeks for a new episode recap. In the next episode, we will recap the episode Unnatural Selection. I also like to tell you about my other podcast called Orinda Talks. Orinda Talks is a podcast wherein I talk about books, movies, fandoms, and other geeks things. On this podcast, I also have an extra episode series in which I will talk about everything Star Trek. You can find Orinda Talks on the YouTube channel or the Facebook group. I also have a new YouTube channel called #LittleDutchie. On this channel, I will react on typical UK things and will explain typical Dutch things. So like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to keep on track of the Little Dutchie YouTube channel and have some fun. Get some more knowledge of my Dutch and Indonesian heritage. We will see you in 2 weeks.